Fun Facts presents the 1969 Mercury Cyclone Cobra Jet 428. This is a classic muscle car. It was introduced in mid-1968, ran through 1969. If you're excited, I'm excited, so let's get started now. Is the 1969 Mercury Cyclone Cobra Jet a rare muscle car legend? I don't know, but maybe it should be. The 1969 Mercury Cyclone Cobra Jet exists in the shadows of the muscle car world. Not nearly as popular as its Ford sibling, the Torino Cobra, or its Mopar rivals, the Dodge Super Bee, and the Plymouth Roadrunner, the Cyclone CJ is somewhat forgotten today. With only 2,175 made in its single year in production, it's not the sort of thing you're likely to see at your local car show, which frankly makes it so much cooler. The Cyclone Cobra Jet is the archetypical muscle car of the era. Big engine in a stripped out mid-size coupe, but only a handful of enthusiasts know about it. It's a muscle car for non-conformists. The Cyclone CJ came equipped with one of Ford's hottest engines of the time, the 428 CI V8, offered at an advertised 335 horsepower. I'd say because it's believed that it made closer to 400 horsepower in reality. With this engine, the Cyclone Cobra Jet was capable of ripping off 14-second quarter miles in its day, which was damn quick in 1969. Mercury muscle fans find themselves with a mild to severe case of Ford envy from time to time, given the performance credentials that the blue oval line fashioned in the 1960s. Ford was the total performance division, period. Mercury was something else. That lack of definition may have led to the division's demise in recent years, but it shouldn't take anything away from the great cars it produced. For the Mercury had its fair share of performers as well, including the likes of the popular Cougar and the full-size Marauder. For 1 year only, the 1969 Mercury offered the Cyclone Cobra Jet, based on the hallmark of muscle car era big engine antics in a mid-size package. On the Cobra Jet included the 428 Cobra Jet engine, breathing through dual exhaust, a close ratio 4-speed manual transmission, and a 3:1 rear axle ratio, along with a competition handling package, with performance axle ratios of up to 4.30 to 1 available on the CJ's prowess, opened many eyes to Mercury's performance potential. Several magazines coaxed sub-14-second quarter miles at over 100 miles per hour from the fastback Cyclone with the 428 cubic inch V8. Motor Trend, praising the engine, wrote, "The power reserve on tap is proportioned to the Grand Coulee Dam." In blasting out these quick ETs, they also commented, "This isn't an automobile, it's a Club Mercury is going to use to beat into oblivion the idea that their cars were ever considered stones." They went on to praise the car's handling too, and even the optional power front disc brakes. Mercury had earned plenty of trophies at the strip, particularly with the Dino Don Nicholson at the wheel. This was one of the first Mercurys to really take the competition to the street and produced the sort of blistering quarter-mile times that made Hemi-powered cars famous. Just as the CJ was a submodel of the Cyclone, so too was the Cyclone a submodel of the Montego, with which it shared the 116-inch wheelbase, intermediate unibody chassis. It also shared that chassis and many other components under the sheet metal with the Ford Torino and its variants. None of the engine, transmission, rear end, or other driveline components were exclusive to Mercury. The same went for suspension components, glass, and seating. Fortunately for the Cyclone owners, the overwhelming popularity of the Ford models means better availability for parts, and exclusive Mercury components, namely the sheet metal and related trim, are harder to come by and are not yet being reproduced. That may never be, but given the near and extremely high volume of mid-sized Fords sold in the era, some parts may be obtained as easily as making a trip to the local parts store. So, with a clean body, you can get the best of both worlds: Mercury rarity and Ford parts availability. Like its counterpart from Ford, the intermediate-based Cobra, the CJ was Mercury's answer to the Plymouth Roadrunner and Dodge Super B, a somewhat stripped-down model intended for performance junkies. People looking for luxury with their power at Mercury had a couple of versions of the Montego Coupe to choose from. The Cyclone CJ was more about the performance. Priced at $3,207, the CJ was the most expensive of the Montego Common Cyclone intermediates, but Mercury pushed their dealers to point out that the fastback CJ cost $438 less than the Charger RT. Of course, the dealers didn't bother to point out that it cost about that much more than the Super B. Either way, Dodge moved a lot more Chargers and Super Bs than Mercury sold CJs, with that just being 2,175 being delivered for the 1969 model year. In previous years, the Cyclone GT had been top dog, but that model went away for 1969. Although it remained an option package on base Cyclones, just the same, you could equip the non-CJ Cyclone with the same go-fast parts as the Cyclone CJ, including the 428 Cobra Jet engines that the new model drew its name from. Engine. As any other great muscle car under the hood, the Cyclone CJ breathes a powerful V8 engine that separates the breed from the normal run-of-the-mill Cyclone. Ford's 28 cubic inch FE engine featured an extended skirt that went all the way below the crank journals for stiffness and strength. Unlike standard 428s, the Cobra Jet also had extra main bearing webbing in the block and thicker main bearing caps. While not as stout as the legendary 427, the 428 was produced in greater numbers and available in more models, including the Cyclone, where it was standard on the CJ and optional on the Montego models. Rated at 335 bhp horsepower and 440 foot-pounds of torque, in the CJ a number may be considered underrated by Ford. The Cobra Jet engine featured a 10.6-to-1 compression ratio and a 735 CSM Holley 4-barrel carburetor. As Motor Trend found, it was enough to propel the 3,825-pound car through the quarter mile in less than 14 seconds, with a trap speed of over 100 miles per hour. A legitimate alternative to the Hemi Charger, the Cobra Jet 428s used a cast iron version of the 428 Police Interceptor's aluminum intake and also the PI's connecting rods. Valve gear included hydraulic lifters, a large .209, and a 1.66-inch intake and exhaust valves, respectively. Those valves rode on higher frequency springs with concentric dampers. The 428 slurped premium fuel due to the high compression ratio. Despite its displacement, the CJ was made its peak power at a relatively high 52 RPM. The 428 should not be confused with the 429 cubic inch found in the likes of the Mercury Marauder X100 in 1969. Despite the similarities in displacement, the two mills are different from engine families and share no major components or dimensions. The 428 makes its cubes using a narrow bore and a slightly larger stroke than the 429. So, beginning in 1969, Mercury began offering the Super Cobra Jet engine option as part of the drag pack, which included a 3.91 or 4.30 rear axle. You couldn't order a Super Cobra Jet as an option, but got it when ordering the shorter gears. The SCJ engines were rated at the same 335 horsepower as the CJ, but again, that number was conservative, perhaps starting point for racers who prized the uprated engine oil cooler and the beefier crankshaft and the connecting rods. 4-bolt mains on the SCJ replaced the 2-bolt mains on the CJ. Engine VIN codes will not tell you if a car had a CJ or a CSJ engine. Every Cyclone built in 1969 was a fastback, and the Cobra Jet was no exception. But the Cobra Jet's got a blacked out grille with horizontal bars. Only the center bar was painted silver. A center hood tape strip came standard. It was either silver or low gloss matte black, depending on the body color. Cyclone CJ decals appeared at the back of each quarter panel, and CJ 428 stickers were applied low, just past the front wheel, well, on the front fender. As mentioned, the optional ram air induction included a different hood with a functional ram air scoop. Choosing this option also gave the buyer locking hood pins, and for that, a full-on drag racer look. Because the Cyclone shared a platform with Ford models, some sheet metal pieces are available as reproductions, including certain flooring components, but the Mercury exclusive exterior sheet metal is not. Finding a clean or repairable body should be a priority when searching for the Cyclone CJ. Well, if you found yourself this far into the video, we'd certainly like to thank you for taking the time out of your day. And if you like our video, please give us a thumbs up, because it really does help our channel. And if you like our channel, please subscribe, because we'll be doing all the supercars, the muscle cars, all the hybrid cars, sports cars, the autoramas, the custom cars, the hot rods, a little bit of everything for everybody. I've been reading today from a couple different websites, and I'm going to leave the links below so you can finish the articles. And we'd like to thank you for taking the time again, once again, and say have a great day, and always, always, always take good care. Thank you.